Dog follows you into the kitchen, down the hallway, even into the bathroom. Most owners call that loyalty. Sometimes it is. But sometimes your dog is following you for a completely different reason. And one version of this behavior can be a sign that something is wrong. In this video, I'm breaking down what it really means when your dog follows you everywhere, how to tell the difference, and the one change in this behavior you should never ignore. Let's get into it. You are their safe base. The first reason is probably the most fundamental, and it has a real name in behavioral science: safe base behavior. Your dog hasn't just bonded with you. They've identified you as the point of safety in their world. You're the thing that makes everything else feel manageable. Think about a toddler at a playground. They run around, they explore, they climb things they probably shouldn't, but they keep glancing back at the parent. And if the parent disappears, everything changes. The confidence drops, the exploring stops. Dogs do the same thing. You are the base they orbit around. When they follow you from room to room, a big part of that is simply keeping you in range. Because when you're nearby, their world feels stable. This is especially true in dogs with a secure attachment. They're not anxious. They're not panicking. They're just staying close to the thing that makes the environment feel safe. That's not clingy. That's trust built over time. They've learned your patterns better than you have. Here's one most people completely overlook. Your dog has studied you more carefully than you'd ever guess. Dogs are pattern machines. After a few months of living with you, they know your routine better than you do. Your keys come off the counter. Your dog is already at the door. You open the drawer where the leash is. They're spinning before you've touched it. You walk toward the kitchen at 6 o'clock. They're already sitting where the bowl goes. You grab your jacket off the hook. They've already decided whether you're taking them or leaving them based on which shoes you reach for next. They're not just following your body. They're following what your body predicts. To your dog, your movements are never just movements. They are signals. Kitchen might mean food. Shoes might mean a walk. Bedroom might mean the day is winding down. You are the schedule. You are the forecast. You are the thing that tells them what happens next. Of course they keep you in sight. They're running a campaign. Now, after everything I just said about trust and emotional bonds and safe bases, sometimes the reason your dog follows you is much simpler than any of that. They want something, and they've learned that staying close to you is the most effective way to get it. You'll know this version because it has a very specific energy. They're not just near you, they're locked onto you, watching every move, following you to the kitchen, and then performing a slow, deliberate sit right next to the cupboard where the treats are. They're not being subtle. They know exactly what they're doing, or they'll do the classic move: look at you, look at the thing, look back at you. They will do this for an unreasonable amount of time. That's not random behavior, that's a request. And a lot of owners miss it entirely because they interpret all following as affection. But not every time your dog follows you is a bonding moment. Sometimes it's a negotiation, and your dog is a better negotiator than most people give them credit for. They're reading your emotional state. Now this is where it gets deeper, and this is the one most owners never expect. Your dog is not just following your body, they're tracking your mood. Research has shown that dogs detect shifts in human emotional state through facial expression, vocal tone, body language, and quite possibly scent. When you're stressed, your body chemistry changes, cortisol rises, your breathing gets shallower, your posture tightens, and here's the thing, you usually don't notice these changes in yourself. Your dog does. You come home and sit on the couch, but you're not relaxed. You're sitting on the edge. You're scrolling your phone, but not really seeing it. You sigh more. You haven't said a word, but something about you is off. And your dog gets up from across the room, walks over, and presses against your leg. That's not coincidence. That's your dog responding to a shift they picked up before you were fully aware of it yourself. When your dog follows you more closely than usual, especially on days you feel off, they may not be looking for food or a walk. They may be checking on you, closing the gap because something in your signal changed and their instinct says, stay close to this person right now. A lot of owners say, my dog always knows when I'm having a bad day. That's not magic. That's a dog doing exactly what thousands of years of living alongside humans built them to do. When following becomes anxiety. Now here's where we need to make an important distinction, because there's a version of this behavior that looks the same on the surface, but means something very different underneath. Some dogs don't follow their owner because they feel safe. They follow because they're afraid of what happens when you leave, and you can tell the difference. Calm following looks like this. Your dog moves with you room to room, but they settle when you settle. If you close a door, they wait or find something else to do. There's no urgency. They're choosing to be near you. Anxious following looks like this. The dog never settles. They shadow you step for step. If a door closes between you, they scratch, whine, or pace. They pant when they haven't been exercising. They cannot relax unless they are physically right next to you. That's not devotion, that's distress. The dog hasn't learned that being apart from you is survivable, and what the owner often sees as extreme love is actually a dog that's struggling every time you move. That's the distinction that matters most. A secure dog follows you and settles. An anxious dog follows you and can't. If your dog can't relax in another room for even a few minutes, that's worth paying attention to. Not because something is terribly wrong, but because it means your dog may need help building confidence and independence. And the earlier you work on that, the easier it is. When they suddenly stop. And now, the thing I really want you to hear, because this is the one that catches people off guard. If your dog has always followed you, every room, every hallway, every trip to the bathroom, and then one day they just stop, don't just enjoy the quiet. A sudden change in following behavior can be a signal. Pain, nausea, fatigue, early illness. These can all cause a dog to withdraw and stop moving the way they normally do. It can also happen with cognitive decline. Dogs with canine cognitive dysfunction sometimes lose that tracking behavior entirely. They seem disoriented. They stand in rooms looking unsure of why they're there. I'm not saying this to scare you. Most of the time, a dog resting in the other room is just a dog resting. But if the change is sudden and doesn't match their normal pattern, it's worth a vet visit. Because a dog that follows you every day has given you something valuable, a behavioral baseline. And when that baseline shifts, it can tell you something before any other symptom shows up. So here's what I want you to take from this. Your dog following you everywhere was never just one behavior. It's a running conversation, and the meaning changes depending on how it's happening, when it's happening, and what's shifted. Sometimes they follow because you are their safety. Sometimes because they've decoded your routine down to which shoes you put on. Sometimes because they want something, and sometimes because they've sensed something in you that you haven't even named yet. Most of the time, a dog that follows you everywhere is telling you something simple. Being near you is where the world makes the most sense. But now you know the real question isn't just whether your dog follows you, it's how they follow you, and what they're trying to feel when they do. If you want to get better at hearing that, this is the channel where it happens.